Hello, my name is William Bloom, and I want to share with you a few thoughts, a few ideas about how you can help a loved one who is moving towards the end of their life, passing over. And these are a few thoughts in order to help you help them. I want this short video to be reassuring and informative. First, just a tiny bit about myself, which is relevant. You should know that in my mid-20s, I had a very severe bout of hepatitis B, which almost killed me. And for 3 months, I was semi-conscious and very close to death. In fact, I experienced myself out of my body and close to death over that period of 3 months quite regularly. And I was sufficiently conscious and present and maybe intelligent in the moment to assess when I was going through that process whether or not it was just brain chemistry or whether it was reality. And because it happened so frequently and regularly, I was able to come to center in the middle of it all and go, yeah, no, this is real. There is another dimension after life. So that happened in my mid-20s. And ever since then, I've been engaged in working with people, researching what happens when people die. I've had quite a lot to do with hospices, and I've had an awful lot to do with meditation practices that work with people who are moving towards end of life and dying. The first thing that is obvious and absolutely worth saying is that in the worldview, the set of ideas I'm going to present to you, it's absolutely at the core of them that there is an aspect of the personality and consciousness that at death lifts off and goes into another dimension. Call this part of the person whatever you like, their soul, their personality, their higher self, their spirit. But in all spiritual traditions, there is a universal teaching that this happens. What is also taught in all spiritual traditions is that people are, after they die, are magnetically drawn, magnetically attracted to this other dimension, this other space, which in the West one might call heaven or paradise, or translating Buddhist language might call it the clear light. And there are wonderful paintings and pictures in all cultures of what this beautiful new dimension looks like. Now, in this short video, I'm not going to describe what heaven is like. I think that's a whole other discussion. But I think what's important for you to be reassured about is that when people die, they are irresistibly attracted over into the light or attracted into heaven. It's a natural process. It's as effective and regular as the way in which water is attracted by magnetism down. Water comes down a mountain, comes down a river, into the ocean. When people die, they are attracted in the opposite direction, up, into heaven, into paradise, into the clear light. In Catholicism, they talk about purgatory, and in Buddhism, they talk about the Bardo state, which is a kind of wobbly area where when people die, there's a little bit of psychic noise, irritation that they pass through. Yes, that does exist. And in my experience, it is very, very rare for anybody to be held up by that realm of difficult energy. It's just very natural and normal for them to pass across. And in a good death, and that may sound as though I'm being flippant, because death can be extremely poignant. especially for family and friends, but in a good death, what will happen is that the body is just exhausted, had enough of life. And just like when you go to bed at night after a tiring day, it's a relief to sink back down into your bed and just go to sleep and let your body drop into that wonderful state of being at ease and sleeping. At death, a good death, the body will also just release and drop down, and consciousness naturally lifts off and is attracted, magnetically attracted into the clear light. It's a normal, peaceful, healthy process. But there are two key elements there that you need to notice if you're going to help someone pass over. The first is that you want to help them be at ease and relaxed about the whole process. So if you're physically with them, it's crucial that you yourself be calm and relaxed and at ease. The best example I can give that many of you may already have had is if you're with a friend or child or member of your family who's ill, and they're in bed, you're beside them and you're in a chair and you're reading. So you're reading a book, or maybe listening to something, or maybe even watching something on your smartphone. But you're at ease, smartphone, it's just your presence, your closeness, your physical closeness is reassuring to the other person. They don't want any busyness. They don't want any activities or doing. They just want a reassuring, soft, quiet presence. And the vibrations of your body, the atmosphere, the ambience that your body radiates will just gently soothe your loved one. That's all they want. They don't want talking, noise, blah, blah, talks about heaven, religion, spirituality. Talk about whatever they want to talk about, maybe. Stay in their reality, their experience, but just stay calm and accepting and quiet and embodied, and that will transmit to their body and allow them to be at peace. I believe you can do this at a distance as well. So if you are far away from a loved one who is moving towards their end of life and passing over, I think you can sit very quietly in your favorite sofa, favorite armchair, favorite place out in the landscape, and just sit quietly and allow yourself very patiently and softly to feel that you're with your loved one, even at a distance. And just trust that something about your state will transmit to them. So that's the first aspect. You just want to be a calm presence. The second aspect is when their body dies, their consciousness lifts off and is magnetically attracted up into the light. And what you can do, and again you need to do this very patiently and calmly, and you also need to do it with a soft attitude of unconditional love, just soft, kind love. Is what you do is you have a sense of what is in the clear light, in heaven, in paradise. Your loving, soft, kind resonance will connect you with the essential harmonics of heaven, the essential vibration of the clear light. So there you are, beautifully quiet, your body vibrating a soft, calm vibration that soothes the other person. At the same time, you have an awareness of your own love connecting with the clear light. And then you just have a sense of a clear passage for your loved one going easily across, because there's a connection. It's like you've created a triangle. There's you, lovely and calm. There's your loved one over here. There's the light up there, and your vibration is holding them softly, helping them be at ease. At the same time, the love in your heart is connecting with the clear light, and you just have a sense of them passing gracefully across. That's just a very healing vibration. It's a very healing thing to do. It doesn't in any way accelerate or speed up the process, but it creates a sense of calm and of ease. If someone in your life has passed over and you weren't there for them, you can even, sitting quietly, run in your heart and psyche the notion that you're still with them and they're passing over, and almost replay in your psyche and imagination what would have happened if you had been with them. And that can also bring closure and a sense of meaningful completion to the whole process. So there we are. It's very simple, isn't it? The best hospice workers, the nurses, the carers, the spiritual care team, if they're trained in how to be with a person towards the end of their life, they'll be taught just impeccable, caring bedside manner that enables the person to be at ease. But then we're adding this very explicit spiritual dimension, which is their consciousness does pass over into the light. It's magnetically drawn there. It's absolutely natural and inevitable that they will pass over into heaven. And if you want to, from a relaxed, patient place of being at ease and loving, you too can connect with it and have a sense of them passing over. I don't think there's anything more that's complex about it. You might have questions about suicides and disasters and war zones. They're very meaningful questions, but in the long run, even though there may be temporary turbulence and suffering from the disasters and the war zones, in the long run, all those souls will pass over into the light, and the temporary and awful trauma of their situation will melt away and dissipate, but their souls, their consciousnesses will pass over. I hope this has been useful to you. One last word. One of the consistent pieces of wisdom, a truism that's often said, is that preparing for death is the same as preparing for life. Preparing for death is the same as preparing for life. And what this means is that if you prepare for your own death, which will be at ease, allowing patient calm, and then connected with the clear light and heaven and going across, what a wonderful way to live. At ease, peaceful, calm, and connected to the clear light.